G'day guys, and here again for another video. Um, Once again, sticking to it will be out at some point, not always on a Wednesday, and today is actually Monday. It's actually been a long weekend here in Australia, I think for most of Australia. It's been a long weekend, so I've just been doing some family stuff, nothing real exciting. Had way too much to drink last night, so I've had a pretty rotten hangover all day, but it's cleared up now. So we'll start off by having a beer. It's come along really nice, this beer. It is only an extract beer. First time I've ever used dark malt extract, but it's not really helpful with my hand there. Let's hold it there. Really clear. It's cleared up really nice. It doesn't look great, and I think that's because of the dark malt extract. It was just a mistake. I meant to pick up light dried malt and picked up dark. So this is the one that I made when I remembered the morning we were going, or the morning before we went away on holidays, that I had nothing brewing and I needed to just get something quickly done, and I only had to spare like probably 2 hours. So there's a benefit of the extract brewing, and I know, I mean, I prefer all grain. I have started brewing all grain with the Grainfather, but in 2 hours I got to the brew shop, got home, and had this in the fermenter within 2 hours. Like you can't beat that. Sometimes extract is just better on that side of things. I'm looking forward to the batch that's fermenting at the moment. So that's that Two-Hearted IPA. I had a little sneak test yesterday, and it is tasting really nice. I dry hopped it after a couple of days, so I'm intending on bringing that into a secondary on Sunday next week. So it's sitting at 1.020 at the moment, roughly. Started at 1.069. So it's still a little bit to go, but it's coming along really, really nice. It's the first time I'm going to put it into something that's secondary, so I'm just going to cube it in my beer fridge for 2 weeks. So basically cold crush it, I guess, for 2 weeks, maybe even a week. We'll see how it goes. I did what I'm calling the supermarket brew. Again, it was just for pipeline reasons. I knew that being the long weekend this weekend and I had a fair bit on, I wasn't going to get a chance to do a proper batch. And again, I say proper, I don't mean the extract isn't proper, because it is. This is extract, and this is great. I've been drinking this for weeks, and it's fantastic. I just mean, I didn't have, even with an extract, I generally put in some hops and whatnot. And this was, I just knew I wasn't going to have time. And I went to go to the brew shop. Didn't realise for the long weekend they'd closed. So I was spewing. So I thought, well, the supermarket does stock some homebrew stuff, so let's go and have a look. So I went up there. I got a Cooper's English Bitter extract. I got a kilo of light dried malt extract, which they called light brewing sugar, but it's dried malt extract, and a kilo of dextrose. Now, I forgot I actually already had dextrose at home, so I didn't need that, because I added about 300 grams of dextrose just for the sake of it. Look, I don't know how it's going to turn out. That dried malt extract didn't look of the quality that I would normally use when using dried malt. Look, it all went in fine. I actually found some Cascade, is it Cascade? Columbus hops at the back of the fridge. So I threw, I didn't even measure them, maybe 30 grams worth in. I just threw them in the boil for half an hour. I wanted to boil the dried malt extract just because I didn't know where it was from, or if it was sanitary or what. So I just thought, I'm going to boil it just in case. Same with the dextrose. Although the dextrose was mine that I knew was okay, but still. Yeah, just topped it up to 22 litres and pitched the the yeast that came with the can. And I've actually, apart from the very first batch that I did, the very first homebrew that I made, I've never ever used the yeast that comes with the kit. I've always bought, the first thing that was sort of taught to me was to improve any beer, improve your yeast. And I couldn't get it because they were shut, so I had to just go with what came with it. So I did throw in a couple of tablets that I use as a yeast nutrient just to try and get it going. Now, I don't know how it's going yet because my second fermenter is one of the Cooper's DIY ones that doesn't have an airlock, so it has that, it does that pressure, whatever it does, I don't know. But look, it looks alright, it smelled alright. We'll see, we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. Look, in theory, it's going to work. It's got sugar in it and a kit, sugar, and yeast. So in theory, it's going to work. I haven't taken a gravity reading. I may actually do that later today. Although it's almost 7 o'clock at night, so I may actually go and do that now. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys about, yeast starters. I've never actually done one. I'm not sure whether I should do it. I've never had a batch come out a problem. I've actually, there's a bit of wood. I've never had a bad batch. I've never had a batch go off. Never had a batch not ferment. But I'm one of those guys that likes stuff, and I've seen, you know, like the stir plates and that, and I'm sort of like, that'd be pretty cool. So I am half tempted to get one, but I just wanted to ask you guys what you reckon. Yeast starters, are they worth preparing? Are they worth having? And stir plates, how essential are they? Are they, you know, is it definitely an investment? Because they're not expensive. I mean, you can make them for nothing. You can basically make them for like $5. I could put one together. I can't be bothered. They're only like $40 in the shops, and they're basically designed as a stir plate. It's just, I'll just do it up. I'll just buy one. But if you could let me know, that'd be ideal, because I don't, I've never used one, and there's, the problem with the internet is there's always pros and cons. I'd actually like to get some of you guys that have used them and do use them or don't use them and get your input. That'd be really cool. I'm leaning towards getting one, like I said, just because I like stuff and I want to have one because I saw it in the shop and I was like, yeah, I want that. But on the other hand, I don't want to do it if it's a waste of time. So I'd love to hear from you. The final thing is only a quick video today because I've actually still got a bit to do. I'm actually in the middle of cooking dinner now. I'm having a curry for tea. I'm actually in the middle of cooking it, so I can't leave it for too long. The final thing I want to talk about is the next brew I'm doing. So I've got 2 in the fermenter at the moment. One's going to go into, like I said, one's going into secondary next Sunday. The other one will basically be going straight into the keg the Sunday after. So I'll be empty. Now, while I'll have plenty of beer available to me, I'm thinking the weather's warming up here in Australia. So, I mean, yesterday it was like 30 degrees. Going forward, like next week, it's sort of mid-20s. I think Friday they're looking at 28, 29. So the weather's warming up. I'm thinking cider I'm going to make as my next beer, my next brew that I'll make. I've had a look at a couple of kits. You can buy like the juice concentrate, you add water and yeast and away it goes. I'm tempted to actually make some calls this week to a couple of fruit orchards and see if they've got any, like if they sell it cheap, where they, you know, I did find one place that does say they sell bulk juice. I don't know the price, I haven't called them, but they do sort of bulk apple juice, for example. If I want to take 20 litres of apple juice, so I can just basically take my keg or whatever and they'll fill it. But I wonder if any of you guys have made a cider. Have you used any of the kits? Not necessarily the same brand. I think Mangrove Jack's is the one available here, but if you've used any sort of kit that's like a concentrated juice that you add water to, and I guess in essence an extract beer kit is a concentrated wort that you add water to, so I'd imagine it'll be sort of the same. It'll be like a syrup that you add water to and then yeast. But I really want to try and make one because I like a cider, and especially in the warmer months. I'm one of the guys that pardon me, I'm a beer drinker. Obviously, I drink beer. I have the occasional spirit, but if I'm drinking anything, it's beer. But in summer, when it's hot, I do sometimes want a cider. I would probably say on a real hot day, it's talking like here in Sydney, like we get up towards 40 degrees. if I've got a 35, 40 degree day, I actually would want a cider over a beer. Um, so I'm definitely going to make one, but I definitely want to get your opinion as to if you've done one, whether you think it's best to go with the juice. I'd imagine it's best to go with the juice because they sell it basically, they press it that morning and there's the juice. I have made ciders before with the Pat Max brewing caps. I've made 3 or 4 batches of that and it's been beautiful. That's why I'm really keen on making it. The only problem with those Pat Max ones is pretty much once you open it, you're kind of stuck then in drinking it, which is, it's not always a bad thing. But yeah, the last cider that I made, it was roughly 8%, and pretty much in one night you've got to get through 2 liters of it. And I'd already had a few beers and that as well. And the next morning I felt like garbage, like I was done the next morning. So I don't know. I'd rather have it in a keg where I can just pour a glass, leave it, pour a glass, just have an option in there, just have a cider keg in there. So I'd love to hear your ideas on that and whether you reckon I'm better to go with a concentrate or juice. If you've done either, that'd be awesome to hear from you. But if not, as always, thank you for watching. I'm going to go and finish cooking dinner. Really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.